Well, gracious greetings, St. Stephen family and guests. Welcome to another edition of Living Water for a Thirsty Thursday. You mad, bro? We've been talking about that for the last month. We talked about the prevention, the prescription, as well as toleration. You don't even know what they did to me. Talked about not getting worked up over the wicked or our wants. We also talked about last week, I'm so mad I can't even see straight. And we talked about how to stand in, how to not sin, and then how to be still. This week we want to talk about road rage. Thus, I'm driving. Prayerfully, your takeaways from road rage will be that we'll learn how to deal with those at least three types of drivers: the distracted driver, the disrespectful driver, and the disgruntled driver. The scripture that I wanted to look at today comes from Proverbs, the 15th chapter and the first verse. It simply says, "A soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger." Now, when we talk about these three types of drivers that are out there, we know there are a lot of distracted drivers out here. They're distracted eating, they're distracted texting, they're distracted making phone calls, they're just distracted. We also have drivers out there that are disrespectful. You know, the ones that just still see blinkers as optional, people that cut you off, people that don't slow down in the rain, people that tailgate unnecessarily, of course. All of those things are an issue and can get us going. But then there's also that disgruntled driver. And that's really what I wanted to focus in on today. Because in this text, when it talks about a soft answer, it talks about giving a gentle response to something that comes at you, maybe foul or a way that you don't like it. But it says a soft response, soft answer. It pushes back or turns back or kind of puts in the right place something that comes at you the wrong way. It says, but grievous words, when we get mad and we get upset as a result of that distracted driver or that disrespectful driver or that disgruntled driver, that stirs up even more anger. But the key is it may stir up more anger in that individual, and it may stir up more anger in us. And that's where I wanted to focus briefly today, is that last driver, the disgruntled driver. Why is that significant? It's significant because we got to be honest. When we leave and go where we're going to go, we already know there are going to be distracted drivers on the road. We already know there's going to be disrespectful drivers on the road. And so we have to be one that controls the controllables, meaning it's not only them that may be disgruntled, but the reason that we can't really deal with that distracted driver or that disrespected driver is because we actually probably came on the road already as a disgruntled driver ourselves. And so that's what we have to work on. Going back to what we talked about over this month, we have to make sure that prevention is there, the prescription of God's holy word, and toleration obviously is important for us to overcome this. And so we have to come up with that soft answer. I know a lot of people want to wave at people with a few fingers missing. They want to lay on their horn and they want to share a few choice words. And, you know, like we talked about last week, how many people have lost something that's very important to them as a result of anger? Some people have lost their life with road rage. And so obviously that's not what we want to do. You mad, bro? We don't have to be mad about something like this. And so we want to get ourselves under control. Now, next week, we're going to move to a whole different area to kind of help us with this as well. We're going to talk about forgiveness. Probably talk about it all month because it's a big subject that we all need to work through when we talk about forgiveness. But let me give you something real quick. Since we're driving, you know, have you ever jumped in your car or especially a rental car, and you're like, where in the world is the gas tank? What side is it on when you're trying to give gas? Well, all the way back from like 1989, a lot of you may know this and then some of you don't. right where your little gas thing is on your indicator for your fuel level, there's a little arrow on either the right side of that little fuel tank or the left side. And whichever side that arrow is on, that is exactly where your fuel tank is. That arrow points to the direction. Hey, just a helpful hint. Maybe you already knew that, but either way, it's just something to have for you to have. All right, until next week when we talk about forgiveness, you don't have to be mad, bro, and you sure don't have to have any road rage. God bless you as you make it a great week.